Sometimes I wonder, when did we stop truly feeling joy? At what point did it happen? Quietly, almost invisibly, as if someone turned off the light inside, and you just kept walking, doing everything as usual, but without that inner glow. You go to work, handle your duties, smile when it's expected, say I'm fine. But somewhere deep inside, something is silent. Where there used to be a sense of lightness, gratitude, simple him alive, there's now emptiness. And that emptiness isn't laziness or depression, it's exhaustion. Exhaustion from constantly having to keep it together. At some point, we stop living for life itself. We live for deadlines, expectations, survival. We turn joy into a luxury we'll allow ourselves later. When things get better. When we have more money. When we get that break, that relationship, that validation. But later keeps moving further away. Joy becomes a postponed project. And life, just a list of not yet done. But here's what I've realized. You can't force joy back into your life. You can't command yourself to be happy, any more than you can order yourself to love. Joy doesn't respond to effort. It's not a goal, it's a side effect of being present. It returns naturally, the moment you stop demanding perfection from life. Step 1. Stop looking for a reason to be happy. We're used to thinking joy comes after something, after success, after recognition, after the right circumstances. But joy doesn't live in the future. It doesn't wait until everything aligns. It lives right here, in the moments we usually skip. When you walk down the street and notice how the air smells after rain. When you drink your morning coffee not on the run, but with the quiet awareness that this is your life, right now. When you don't just look at someone you love, you see them. To feel joy again, you must relearn how to be. Be present. Not judge, not analyze, not compare. Simply exist in the moment. Joy is not the destination. It's the footprint left by presence. Step 2. Allow yourself to be alive. We lose joy when we stop being ourselves. We keep bending, trying to fit expectations, be productive, be positive, be strong. But joy lives where should doesn't exist. Joy appears when you allow yourself to be imperfect, tired, real. When you stop being a role and start being a person again. You can be exhausted, confused, uncertain, and still alive. And being alive is already joy. Try it for one day. Stop demanding anything from yourself. No goals, no judgments, no expectations. Paradoxically, that's when joy comes back. Quietly, humbly, but truly. Step 3. Shift focus from what's missing to what's here. The human brain is built to look for problems. It's how we've survived as a species. But that same instinct now steals our joy. You can have shelter, food, love, and your mind will still whisper, it's not enough. So I started a small ritual. Every night, I ask myself, what was good today? Sometimes the answer is small. A warm cup of tea, a stranger's smile, a quiet moment of peace. Sometimes it's nothing grand. But the act of searching trains your mind to notice abundance instead of lack. Slowly, you start to see that life has been giving you much more than you ever realized. Step 4. Stop comparing. Comparison is the quietest, deadliest thief of joy. It sneaks in through everyday moments. Scrolling through someone else's better life, thinking their world is full of celebrations while yours is just rehearsals. But here's what we forget. We compare our backstage to someone else's highlight reel. Joy cannot survive where there's constant "why don't I have that?" So instead, ask yourself, what's uniquely mine? Maybe you have less glitter, but more depth. Fewer likes, but more inner peace. Joy isn't about quantity, it's about authenticity. Step 5. Let silence in. It sounds strange, But to feel joy again, you must first make peace with emptiness. We drown silence in noise, endless scrolling, shows, tasks, terrified to face ourselves. But it's within that silence that something true begins to grow. When you sit quietly, you start hearing life again, not through the mind's chatter, but through presence. You feel your heartbeat. Your breath anchors you back into your body. You realize everything around you moves with a rhythm, and you're part of it. And that's when, without reason or effort, joy appears. Soft, real, without why. Step 6. Do small things with love. You don't need grand gestures to find joy. It hides in the ordinary. In how you make your bed, cook your meal, or send a message to a friend. When you give even small actions your attention and care, they start to glow with meaning. The world doesn't need to be spectacular to be joyful. Joy isn't a firework. It's a quiet candle that burns when you live with presence and warmth. Step 7. Don't wait for the mood to start living. People often say, "I don't feel joy, so what's the point?" But joy isn't fuel. It's the echo of movement. It doesn't arrive before action. It arrives because of it. It shows up after you take a step, leave the house, talk to someone, try something new. You don't wait for inspiration to breathe. You breathe, and inspiration finds you. Joy works the same way. It visits those who move, even when they don't feel like it. Step 8. Learn to feel again. Sometimes we lose joy because we stop feeling altogether. We shut down sadness and pain, and with them, we close the door on joy too. Emotions are one channel. You can't block one and expect the others to flow freely. If you want to feel joy again, you have to let yourself feel everything. Cry, rage, miss, yearn. Life isn't meant to be only light. It's whole. And when you accept it as it is, joy returns as a natural part of that wholeness. Step 9. Take care of yourself like a human, not a project. We've turned self-care into another to-do list. Workouts, routines, meditations. But real care is not about checklists. It's about relationship. It's the moment you say to yourself, "It's okay to be human. Not perfect. Just alive." When you stop punishing yourself for being tired, stop criticizing yourself for not being enough. When you ask instead, "What do I need right now?" Joy lives where it's safe to be yourself. And finally, remember, joy never left. It didn't die. It didn't run away. It didn't betray you. It's been waiting. Waiting for you to stop being busy with suffering. Waiting for you to look at life not as a problem to solve, but as a miracle to witness. Sometimes all it takes is to slow down, take a breath, and notice you're alive. You're here. And that alone is already joy. Joy isn't a goal. It's not a trophy for the successful. It's a way of walking. You can't find it, but you can stop losing it. Sometimes, to bring joy back, you don't need to add anything new. You just need to remove the noise, the comparison, the expectations, the control. And when it's only you and life, unfiltered, unforced, joy quietly returns. Not because you chased it, but because you finally made space for it to breathe.